this question that I got, or a comment from someone who also is suffering, has outbreaks, and is trying the carnivore diet to see if she, in fact, can have the same kind of results that I did. And obviously, I'm not a doctor. I cannot know. There's not anything specific that I can say that, yes, in fact, you will. However, I do know that the benefits that are available to anybody who tries this carnivore diet are essential and are valid, and there are benefits. And whether or not somebody stays on the carnivore diet or not is your own personal choice. And you have to obviously see how it is affecting you and what's going on with that. So she has been 4.5 months carnivore now, which, you know, you would think, well, that should be enough, right? That should be enough. And she says that she's still healing. So she understands that 4.5 months, yeah, some things might be happening, but maybe not all the great benefits that I'm always talking about, which she does say. So most days I question, what the heck am I doing? And I also understand that especially in the first year, it's, what am I doing? I mean, this can't be good. This is so off and odd and unusual, and you know, the doctors are, you know, everybody's coming at me saying you can't eat all that fat. You can't just eat meat. You've got to eat something else. And yeah, I know. Again, I can't say, hey, you know, this is the perfect thing to do. I happen to believe that it is an essential thing that we can all do to come back to our ancestry, how we got here, and how we are able to live a healthy, vibrant lifestyle. So when I started carnivore and I got the same kind of reaction from everybody around me, literally everybody around me. They were like, are you insane? What are you doing? It's like, well, I drink coffee. That's not carnivore. So the thing is that when I went raw vegan, I had the same reaction from people, because back then, being vegan, nobody knew what that was. It was just coming out in the States. I'm on a little Greek island. I mean, nobody in Greece knew what that meant. You said, you know, you tried to explain it to somebody when you went out to a restaurant, and they're like, oh, vegetables. And then they would bring you, you know, like a cooked vegetables in meat. Because, or the broth, you know, meat broth or whatever, because it just wasn't, it wasn't a part of the culture. It had not become mainstream. And so I had the same reaction. So coming into carnivore and getting the negative reactions, the what are you doing, what's wrong with you, that can't be good for you, I was more comfortable with it because I had already been through it with the vegan kind of thing. So, yeah, you question it, but if you're seeing any benefits at all, you owe it to yourself to keep going. And you owe it to yourself to allow your body to take the time to do what it needs to do to get back to that vibrant health that I'm always talking about. And here's the thing, right? We have been indoctrinated that, take a pill and you're going to feel great, right? It's going to happen real quick. And when you're changing your diet, that doesn't happen. It's not a pill. It's not something that your body can adjust to from 1 minute to the next, because your body isn't covering up like pills do, which I am not against at all. I mean, pills can be absolutely fabulous and they're great, especially when you're in, when you have a serious issue and you really do need to take medication. Yeah. But for your diet, your body needs the time to fix things up. And I think that's why it took quite a while. I mean, it took me 6 months before my outbreak stopped completely. And it actually, there were times when, yeah, I felt great. I felt great. A lot of things had healed. And I was like, wow, couldn't believe it. And I kept thinking, well, 3 months in, if anything happens to me, so be it. I feel really good. And it had to do more with my energy levels, which were higher with I really loved that sense of groundedness that I needed to feel, because I spent my entire life, I always describe myself as a cloud, always moving and flowing and everything, that creative style person, right? That was me. And now I am on the ground. It's like the first time in my life when I feel like I'm grounded, which gives me a sense of confidence, and it gives me a sense of security within myself that I never had before. So those are like benefits, right? The arthritis went away very quickly. The digestive problems disappeared. All sorts of other things went away. So 4.5 months in, yeah, you've been in it for a while, but is it long enough? That really depends on what's going on in your body and the things that are, in fact, healing and getting stronger. So yeah, again, I'm just an artist on this tiny little Greek island, and I can only speak through my own experience, and talk about what other people have gone through in their journeys into the carnivore world. I have someone who has been 5.5 months, 6 months carnivore, and she was still getting herpes around her eye, but not nearly as bad as they were before. And she was still getting, she was feeling much better and getting all the benefits. But, she just kind of like, okay, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. So give yourself the time. Give yourself the time to really settle in. So I don't know how to put the little like comment up. I don't know how to do that kind of thing. So I'm just going to read it to you. I'm not a tech person. She doesn't feel optimal at 4.5 months, like the way that I was saying that, I started feeling optimal pretty quickly. And yeah, that's a fact, right? I felt optimal pretty quickly in carnivore. Other people do take a longer time. And she mentions here in the comment that she's been going through some pretty difficult circumstances in her life. And okay, then I try and put myself in your shoes. I'm trying to put myself in your shoes and thinking, okay, if I were just starting carnivore and going through some pretty difficult circumstances in my life, yeah, I don't know that I would be feeling as as optimal and as wonderful as I felt. Because when I went through my carnivore adjustment, the only problem that I had was these herpes outbreaks, and they were getting better. And then all these other benefits were coming on. I was like, oh, wow, wow. But I didn't have any personal difficulties in my life. Everything was basically the same, and it wasn't my own personal difficulties. I do have to say that the time that I went carnivore was the month that my husband's fishing boat sank and we lost everything. So it was an economic crisis that we were in, but I have always dealt really well with that kind of thing, and I have this incredible belief and trust through experience that my partner, when he's in a really difficult spot, I mean, he just goes forward, moves forward, and I just knew that we would be okay, that we're coming out of this. And who knows, because I'm a cockeyed optimist, who knows what all the benefits in the end might be by the sinking of this fishing boat. And I have a video on my channel. It's called The Last of Makaduka. Makaduka was the name of the fishing boat. And you know, it kind of shows where he had tied it up. It's pretty much mostly submerged, but it's tied up between two rocks. And then going back a few days later to try and pull it out of the water, it had to be a few days later because there was a really bad storm and weather that was, unfortunately or fortunately, with the wind and the waves coming and hitting the boat directly. So we went back with divers to, you know, pull it out of the water to see what they could do. And the boat was gone. So yeah, that was it. So I have a video on that. You guys can go look at it. It's a real short one. So oh, I guess that's on my art channel. I'm sorry, you guys, it's not on this channel. It's on my art channel, which is Vida Evenson Art. You can go see it there. So I know about stress, but when I went carnivore, there was that stress, but it wasn't personal. I flip out when there's personal stress, like emotionally, you know, an emotional kind of, you know, outbreak, because it always felt like a herpes outbreak, right? This boom, and then you're like suffering with it, and there's nothing you can do until time heals the wounds and you're better. So you guys, the personal stress, the emotional stress for me would have been, I don't know what that would have done for me. And if it was a continual thing, like let's say if we were suffering some kind of loss aside from the fishing boat, but let's say my relationship with my husband, you know, divorce or whatever, like all sorts of things happen in relationships. And if I had been going through that at the same time, I honestly don't know where that would have led me and how I would have been able to stay with the carnivore diet, and if in fact it would have been useful. I think it would have for me in my situation, but I don't know, and I can't answer, and I wish to God I had definitive answers. So she says she's going through difficult stress. The stress has been huge. So, and she's a wise person because she's taking that into account. And wise, That's very wise. And thank you for saying this. And thank you for putting this in a comment for others to be able to read, so that there is some kind of understanding that, okay, it's not all, rose-colored glasses for everybody. There are people who take time. There are some people who take much longer in finding their health and that vibrant health. So stick to it. I'm with you, honey. I really understand. So she's saying I want all the benefits that you talk about, so I continue on. And yes, continue on. We all work differently. We all have different methods, and we all have different time frames. None of us are the same. We are all human beings. But aside from that, none of us are the same. The way we think, the goals and purposes in our lives, the effects that previous sad diet has had on our bodies, and how long we went into that, that we were in that lifestyle. I was in it for 50 some. Well, if you count raw vegan, I guess I was 44 when I started the raw vegan diet. And I'm looking away because I'm thinking, was I 44, 43? Was I, whatever. When I was 37, I can't remember exactly, I actually started changing my diet and working with, this was before I was having these big, huge outbreaks. But that brings me, Shelley Swan 3011, that brings me to something. I had this mole on my wrist, and I was working at the vacation rentals here, and somebody said, you should really get that checked out. So I kind of got scared, and I went in and got it checked out and got it biopsied. And I was really scared because looking looking online, which I know you shouldn't do, but I'm on this tiny Greek island, and I haven't got people to talk to. So yeah, I was searching it out, and everything looked like, this is kind of looking like skin cancer, and I was terrified. So I got it taken out, and in those 2 weeks that I had to wait for the diagnoses from this biopsy, that's when I started getting these outbreaks. I got a huge herpes outbreak, and it was because of the stress. Well, I found out 2 weeks later that this was in situ, so it was like becoming what's it called? The skin cancer in English, I forget, but y'all know what I mean. So it was becoming dangerous, and I, because of that stress, that great stress, that's when I started having these full, my mouth, I wasn't getting it on my body yet, just my mouth, HSV1, cold sores, but I was like from my nose to my chin, my entire mouth. I couldn't eat. That's when I was putting my food in the blender. I was eating a Mediterranean diet, right? I was eating healthy. I was baking my own bread. I was doing all the things. And I had to blend everything up and suck it through a straw. I was only okay for 2 days, up to 2 days, 1 or 2 days. And then there it was again, boom, the exact same kind of outbreak. So that was stress, obviously. Stress caused this movement, and I went through it for 8 months until I, finally went raw vegan. I tried all the medications, all the antivirals. I was taking everything. I was doing homeopathy. I was doing alternative medicines of all sorts. I was doing everything I could possibly find. And again, I'm on this tiny little Greek island, and especially at the time, who knew, right? who knew about anything except for homeopathy? Homeopathy is something that, because of Virthucas, who is one of the big homeopathy people out in the world. So we were, we had that, but no healing, no healing. Give me a moment. And so that was stress, and it was intense. So had I been carnivore and started carnivore right after I got the biopsy done, how would I have reacted? Who knows? Who knows? Would I have still had these big outbreaks? Who knows? Perhaps, especially in the first months, probably. Because apparently when I stress out, boom, the immune system is plummets. It gets all out of whack. Everything is just out of whack. Stress can be and is very, very difficult for us to handle. So I don't know what would have happened, but I do know that my body reacted in such an intense way because of the stress. So yeah, your stress is probably the factor that is still, keeping you somewhat off balance. So this is because I'm a cockeyed optimist. I always look for the silver lining, and I will always focus on that silver lining. I am so grateful that for some reason in my makeup, I look for the silver lining always. So focus on your silver lining. Look at, you can look down where things are more negative always when you're tilting forward and looking down, or if you're looking forward and above, your heart area opens, everything opens, and you are more available to the positive things. So, focus forward and upwards, literally and metaphorically, and cultivate and nourish not only your body with the carnivore foods that you're eating, but also your inner heart area, your inner self, the self-love, the choosing to see the glass half full idea. So that's what, it's the same thing, looking straight ahead where you're in between the balance of moving towards negativity, moving towards frustration and discomfort, and, and being, okay, well, yeah, maybe this is happening, but gosh, it's a beautiful day today, right? I mean, it is a beautiful day today. We got sun, we got flowers. Check it out. It's a beautiful day today. And focus on that. Focus on that. And even if it's not a gorgeous day in your part of the world, there's something good that's happening in your life right now. Right now. Something very good. So focus on that. When you're walking, keep your eyes forward or up, unless of course you have to look down because you're going downstairs or something, obviously, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's, she says she's had some breakouts. Have they been exactly the same as before? Have they been of the same intensity and lasting the same length of time? Those are questions. Any little bit that's better, any little bit, is, again, looking at the glass half full and up. That things are stabling down, stabling up. How would we say that in English again? it's it's all okay. And even if they're the same, they're not worse. So I don't know. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say for sure, but I do know that those on the carnivore diet, those who are embracing this elimination diet and letting go of all the extras, getting it out of your body, giving your body the time it needs to heal, that you will find benefits. Your body will begin to work better. Your immune system will begin to stop attacking you and taking care of any kind of herpes outbreaks that might be coming out or anything else that might be going on. I'm not alone in this. I'm not alone. And you can go out into the carnivore world and listen to all the people who have healed greatly from all sorts of issues. Some very quickly, others needing 6 months, others needing a year. Everything kind of comes into balance. If you go on to Homestead How on YouTube here, Carrie talks about somebody, a friend of his, who I don't know what kind of cancer he had, but it was terminal cancer, and they had given him, like, you're 6 months to live or something like that. And he went carnivore, and he didn't heal himself from the cancer. He has died, but he extended his life. His life got better for another 3 years. And it's not that he lived longer, it's that he lived better for a longer period of time, rather than getting locked into the typical outcomes of cancer. You guys should go look into that. And there's a lot of people with serious diseases, not herpes, right? I mean, we're not going to die from herpes. We may die of shame, but you're not going to physically, it's not going to kill you. So, you can go back and see all these people who had, just unbelievably difficult problems. And some of them take quite a long time to heal. And then maybe they're still not feeling that incredible vibrancy. But it's not just the diet. It's not just the diet. The diet is where you begin to get your body back in shape, flowing in this pendulum state somewhere in the middle, not swinging up and swinging to the other side, just keeping it somewhere in here. That's a balanced state of being. And when you get there, then you can begin to really work on the other areas that promote the vibrant health that I'm talking about, that I have experienced. And yeah, carnivore was the beginning. And if I did none of the other things that I do, carnivore would still be my baseline because it works. And yeah, I drink coffee, so am I carnivore? And, just in the description, no, because I drink coffee. And do I have avocados like Shelley does? Yeah, I have avocados once in a while. Avocados are low glycemic fruits. So I'm not eating vegetables. I do not eat any vegetables, any at all. I don't eat any of them. But I do eat low glycemic fruits once in a while. And once in a while, I will have watermelon, which is not a low glycemic fruit. It's low in carbs, but it's definitely not a low glycemic fruit. But I'm able to do that now because I have been carnivore for 4 years, and I have seen how my body reacts and what's happening. And every time I do nibble on other things, I do have a reaction. I do. I am not at my optimal health level. So yeah, if I eat, like a cup of watermelon slices or pieces, if I eat that, it affects me. I wake up the next day and I'm not up to par. I am not there. I'm here. And, you know, so you might want to think about that because you do say you are eating some avocado and onion and sauerkraut. Yeah, you're talking about that helping you with your digestion. I'm assuming, yes, sauerkraut would help with digestion. You have to work with that with yourself. But personally, I do not eat onions. I avoid them. And if I have sauerkraut or something like that, maybe it would be once a year. And, you know, I didn't have an easy passage through into the carnivore diet with digestion. I've been lifelong constipated. You know, let's talk a little bit about poo here. Lifelong, when I was on any diet, except for raw vegan, of course, because of all the fibers. It was the only time that I was not in that, you know, constipation kind of mode. So there's a lot of videos out there that are really talking about the whole poo thing, and if our idea of constipation is in fact constipation. And, you know, there are people who I have found, me personally, I started speaking Greek, sorry. Me personally is, I need to take magnesium, electrolytes, you know, I'm an older person, muscle cramps, things like that. So I started taking magnesium for my leg cramps at night, you know, Charlie horse type thing. And that is what brought me back to a regular cycle, right? And so now do I poo every day? No, but nearly. So maybe you want to look at also taking electrolytes, especially in the beginning. And then I personally, in your situation, I would stop the sauerkraut and the onion, maybe avocado once in a while, you know, just as a flavor kind of thing, if it's something that you need. But I would add electrolytes, and that's what I would do. So it is a common factor in when people that are transitioning into carnivore that people should be taking electrolytes. You can get all sorts of them without the added sugars and the added sweeteners, which, you know, stay away from, if you ask me. And you know, LMNT, they have an unsweetened one. There, you can probably get all sorts of different types of electrolytes. So please do that. And I would in fact keep those other foods out. At least give it a try. Tell me about your consults. So probably because I've been out of the States for a long time, I'm trying to think, what do you mean by consults? Maybe my ideas. These are my ideas. You're getting that. Let me know if there's something specific that you're asking me, because it is a fact when you're an expat and you live in another country and you don't use your language on a daily basis that you begin to forget. You begin to forget the language. And it's true. I don't know if there's anybody else out there who is an expat and you just kind of forget. So generally, after all this time for this live, Shelly Swan 3011, we've spoken before, but I encourage you to continue on. I encourage you to work with yourself. Are you getting enough fats? Are you nibbling too much? Is there something that you can get rid of? Maybe eggs, at least the egg whites. Maybe push those out for a while and see if there's something that you need to recalibrate within yourself, you can do it now that you have this elimination diet, that you have that you're only working with, five foods. So, it could be that the optimal feeling of health isn't coming to you yet, and it could be the avocado, it could be the sauerkraut, the onion. I would go with the onion first. I would get rid of the onion first, and then work with that. And then I would also get rid of the egg whites for a while. So play around with it. You've got like these 5 food items that are on your fingertips, and you'll know pretty quickly. If you wake up the next day and you slept better, and you wake up the next day and you just have a little bit more energy, our age depends, especially for women. Our age also plays a role in how we go about our daily lives. It's never going to be a blank slate or a blank sheet of paper or a blank canvas. It's always going to have some kind of writing on it, some kind of painting on it, brush strokes, whatever, depending on where we are in our lives. So you have to take that into account as well. The older we get, it's true, the longer it takes for us to get the results that maybe, a 30-year-old would get when they go carnivore. So I'm really happy that you are ketovore, that you're keeping things really minimum, really low in carbs. I would keep them very, very, very low. I wouldn't go anywhere above 12 carbs a day. I would try and keep it to 5 so that, and it will be helpful. It really will be helpful to your body the lower you keep the carbs down, especially now. Later on, a year from now, I needed 2 years. In my 3rd year, then I started eating, I could bring in avocados and I could bring in other things. And I didn't really have a problem with it. I don't get outbreaks at all, nothing. Oh my God. I don't get anything, right? And so I can have that little bit of watermelon, or I can have the avocado, but there's still a difference in how I work. I wake up the next day and I'm not quite as sparky and spunky. It's true. So it's not just you. I think if you go out and ask other carnivores, that they have pretty much the same kind of not reaction, but similar reactions. People can tell right away if it's not working. So just take all of that into account. This is your space. You're in the carnivore realm, and try letting go of something for a while. What happens? Do you notice any difference? If you're not noticing any difference, let go of something else. And then let go, I'm talking about the avocado, onion, and sauerkraut. Those would be the first things to just push out for a while. Doesn't mean they're going to be gone forever. To push them out for a while, just get rid of them. Start taking an electrolyte. Maybe you need to take a little bit more magnesium to help get your system working the right way. Maybe there are some things that are missing. So work with yourself and talk to me, and we can get on, and you can email me. I think I have my email here. Just email me and let's get in touch. Let's just, you can talk to me, and I'm here for you. I am here for you. No charge. I'm not talking about, unless you want to hire me as a coach. That's a different thing. But if you want to contact me and email me, I will always answer you. And give you everything that I have, because, I know where you are, and I know what it feels like, and I know my health benefits and the things that happen to me. And I believe that you will come to the same place. So you guys, with that, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a beautiful, beautiful day today. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care.